Where'd our music go? Oh, there it is. Welcome back to the Build Show. I am your host over here at the Empower Gaming Studio, aka my house. We're building yet again another PC. Go figure. It seems to be like all I do. Unfortunately, I caught a bug, which was very similar to the COVID experience, if you know what I mean, on Saturday, and that kind of kicked my butt. So unfortunately, Saturday was supposed to be an extremely productive day. For example, this PC was supposed to be built. I was going to do our Intel Arc builds with the B580. Welcome to the Build Show, Ant-Man. And a few other things that were supposed to happen on Saturday. So we were supposed to get a lot done Saturday and also on Sunday. But none of those things happened, unfortunately. And now I'm in, just because I was so under the weather, I couldn't do anything for a couple of days there. Yesterday was one of my last mending days. Today I kind of just now started getting back into the swing of things. So I should be back into full force here, continuing the builds. If you are waiting for a build from me, it is still in the hopper. I have not forgotten about it. I do owe pretty much everybody an email giving them an update on the builds, but there are 12 of them in here, and I just gotta sit down and figure out which one goes next at this point. I got the mild case of the flu, yeah. Same here, man. It was kind of nasty. It just put me on my butt for 2 days straight. Like, I just couldn't do anything. The worst part about it is your mind is still there, groggy, but it's still there, and you feel kind of crummy. You don't really want to do anything, but your mind wants to stay busy. So I get super stir crazy when I sit around too long doing nothing. So, and I couldn't watch it like, whenever I get sick and I watch like a TV series or a video or a movie, it just ruins it for me. So I never like watching stuff when I'm sick. Is that AM4? Yes, this is going to be an AM4 build. This is for Liam. This is the budget box from our website. So if you're familiar with our PCs on the website, this is called our budget box. So ideally, this would have been actually built with a B450, but because of the lack of B450s out there right now, we are using the A520s as a supplement. So we do have the Tough Gaming A520 Plus Wi-Fi, which is pretty much the same exact thing as a B450. Has the Wi-Fi on it, has the M.2 slot that we need, has the 4 slots of RAM. It's not your typical A520 motherboard. It has some of the additional features on it that we want. So, but yes, this is an AM4 build. This is going to be an AMD Ryzen 5 4500. So Liam, I hope you're here, and I hope you enjoy the build stream. If you don't catch the build stream now live, you can always watch it later. So hopefully you get the link and get to check it out. And always feel free to ask any questions while I'm doing the build. I'm happy to answer them. I know I'm kind of like semi out of it, but I'm still here, and I'm still Ben inside my head. Hey, what's up, some giant idiot? Welcome back to the Build Show. My voice is a little weaker as well, so I don't know. I've been coughing a lot, so it's I might have to stop to mute the mic and cough. Hey, chat nerds, how you feeling, buddy? Well, I'm here. I've got to move on. The show must go on. Good evening, friends. Some giant idiot says over on the Twitch side. How are you doing, chat nerds? Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. How are you doing? How are you doing, some giant idiot? How are you? How was your evening? So So you'll have to excuse my random coughs. I caught a little of a nasty bug too. I feel like everybody I know has caught this bug, and I tried to avoid it, guys. I seriously was like, every time somebody was like, hey, I came down with something, is it still okay if I come over? I'd be like, ooh, no, I think you should stay. Well, mostly because we have a newborn baby, but also deep down, I didn't want to get sick. I mean, there's a reason why my kids aren't in a daycare, because, you know, we don't get the daycare disease experience, so no offense to anybody that has to put their kids in daycare. I understand and respect you all for doing the hard work that you do. But the bonus of not having to do that is we don't get sick all the time, right? Yeah, I feel like everybody's coming down with something right now. There's something going around. Don't worry, buddy. I got the tech questions covered for you. Thank you. I'm a little slow today. Not gonna lie. I don't think there's any form of caffeine out there that would get this brain zinging anytime soon. I always blame the kids. It usually is the kids, because they touch stuff and then they put things in their mouth, and they touch stuff and then they put their hand in their mouth. It's just, it's natural. My mom was the manager of 3 daycares. Oh, bless her soul. She probably came down with something every other week. It's just, there's just so many bugs that get carried by little kids because of, you know, it's not their fault. It's mostly hygiene, right? And they just, but yeah, it's something that we don't typically have exposure to. Are lots of kids other than our own kids, which they don't really go anywhere too much, so it's pretty rare for us to get sick. And for me to get sick twice, I've actually been sick twice this year already, 2025. There was a meme photo going around that said, hey, I tried the 14-day trial of 2025 and I'd like to cancel my subscription. I have no interest in this. It's kind of how I feel so far. It's not been so great, you know. Build of the year, question mark? This is not build of the year. Or are you asking what was my build of the year? It's actually on my website, best build of the year, and you can actually purchase it right there off my website. It gives you probably the most performance per dollar. It's not as, you know, perfect now. I had to actually increase the price, but before it was like $200 cheaper, and it was such a good deal. It was a best build of the year was probably the Ryzen 7 5700X 3D, which I did actually have the 5800X 3D there for a little while, but because it became difficult to get, 5700X 3D along with an RTX 3070 and 32 gigs of RAM, a 2TB M.2 NVMe Gen 4 SSD on a B550 with a Montech Air 903 Max, a 360mm AIO, or the Thermalright Peerless Assassin with, I think, a 750 watt power supply. That was the best build of the year, I think. Most bang for your buck. So yeah, it's been rough the last couple days, not gonna lie. So let's continue on through Liam's computer here. Build, we're gonna run through the build out and just get started on it here. I'm only gonna tackle this one tonight because I don't think I'm gonna be able to talk through 2 computers, to be honest with you, today. So I'm gonna at least get this one going. Tomorrow I do plan on doing another build stream, and I need to do at least 2 builds. Wednesday, 2 builds Thursday, and then 2 builds Friday. And that should get us right back up to caught up, at least with the customer builds. Pretty close to it. And then we have a whole bunch of inventory builds that we have to move because I'm just sitting on a crazy ton of parts right now. And I've got to get this inventory out before they lose their value. Like, as in before the 5080 and 5090 drop. So that inventory needs to move because value is probably going to drop on them. And I'll lose money. And it'll suck. Chat nerds, Robert Fixit, welcome back to the Build Show. I see the 50 series GPU launch made you sick as well. Yes. Yes, it did. It kicked my arse. Thank you, sir. Oh yeah, thank you, Some Giant Idiot, for dropping that link there. Excuse me. I appreciate it. Alright, so this is a Ryzen 5 4500, which has got the 6 cores, 12 threads, 4.1 gigahertz. Going to go on the Asus Tough Gaming A520 Plus Wi-Fi motherboard. It's a micro ATX motherboard with a Thermalright Assassin X120 Refined SE ARGB cooler to cool the CPU. We also have a 512. This is a budget box, guys. I'll tell you the price afterwards. Just enough to play, I think mostly, if I remember correctly, this is mostly going to play things like Minecraft, Roblox, just things like that. It's not anything crazy on this build, and it's something they can always add more storage to later. He upgraded he being his dad, Liam's dad, the 16 gigabytes of RAM to 32 gigabytes of RAM. And we also added the 2 bottom fans to this build out, and I'll show you which case this is here in just a moment, but it's basically the Okinawa's Aqua 3, which I believe I had to use the dark flash case again. We have a 500 watt power supply, which is a RS Game 80 plus bronze certified, and then we have a GTX 1660 6 gigabyte graphics card here by Zotac. This is an oldie but a goodie, and it still works to this day. This one is actually pretty much brand new. When I say pretty much, meaning I pulled it out of the packaging already because it came in just a plain Zotac box, and it was actually ordered directly from the Zotac website. So let's see here, and then of course the 2 fans that I mentioned are going in the bottom, and the dark flash case that I had mentioned before, it's going to be a black case, so with some RGB lighting. Oh, got the specs for the 5090. It's liquid metal with a gasket around the die so it doesn't leak. Well, that's actually a really good idea. Except for it's trapping the heat as well, right? Really, so it's kind of being built more like a engine now, I guess you can call it, with some oil. Pretty soon we're gonna have a liquid cooler to cool the oil that's cooling and lubricating. No, I'm just kidding. Really, NVIDIA? Really? Yeah, I know, really. Pulling out all the stops to tame nearly 600 watts of power. Yeah, they gotta pull out all their tricks to make it work. I mean, it's a lot of wattage going through the card. Only on FE cards as well had to do something to make it to 2 slots. Yeah, their coolers are still probably some of the smaller coolers between the other SIs. For why am I saying that? You know what I mean. Yo, what's good? What's up, Tatuna? Empowered people. Welcome back to the build show, sir. Hope you are all feeling better. Oh yeah, I'm feeling much better than I was a couple days ago, but I'm still carrying some grogginess, so I apologize if I'm not as spunky as I normally am. I promise the spunk will return, hopefully within the next day or so, and we'll be doing streams the rest of this week, throughout the week, as long as I can maintain the energy to do so. But we really don't have a choice. I've got so many builds in here to do. It's kind of overwhelming. Some Giant Idiot, what's new, brother? Robert Fix, how often should we change our computer oil? Yeah, I don't know. I'd say every 6,000 rotations, you know. No, I'm just kidding. Everything 3,000 miles, Robert. That's a good answer. It's a good answer. Yeah, once you hit about 3,000 miles on that, what do we want to call it? A FPS odometer? I don't know, some sort of funky term. The fins on the FE were weird and bent. That is about as close as I could get at CES. Well, probably too many people touched the thing, so They probably weren't supposed to be bent, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, I got to see some close-ups on them, too. Did you hear about, what's that guy's name? He's a tech YouTuber. I think he was at CES when he lost his house to a fire. I feel really bad for him. Just was following his story. He still has his office, thankfully, but which is where most of his tech gear was. But he lost his house. Nobody was hurt that he knew. But bro, what weight you running PC? I'm running 5W LM. 5LM 5 liquid metal. I don't know. Oh yeah, Kyle Bitwit, that's his name. Thank you. I was drawing a blank there. See how lightning fast my brain is? Seen him at the show? Yeah, cool dude. Feel really bad for him. I hope he seems to have a lot of support, but I hope he gets everything sorted out over there. So, I mean, that would... My parents actually just went through a fire, so I can really relate a little bit. So my childhood home where I grew up, we lost to a fire. Nobody was hurt in that fire, and that was like 6 years ago now. And it was electrical fire that started in the attic and eventually engulfed the whole house before we could even figure out what was going on. Before they could figure out what was going on. That was a long time ago. It was right after we bought our house. So we literally bought our house, we moved in, and then they lost their house to a fire, and then literally all of my brothers and sisters moved into my house after the fire. Which at the time, if you guys aren't aware, I'm second oldest of 9. So I come from a very large family. So anyway, I can relate. I've been through this, my family has been through this, and it sucks. And the insurance company is never there for you. Just, so it's gonna suck for him, and I feel bad. I saw that on the video, yeah. Well, I was resting up a little bit ago, I watched that. Do you get reimbursed if you lose your house to a natural disaster? I think it depends on what type of insurance you have, and I assume in California it's probably common to have some sort of a rider that's specific for that. So it would be generally whatever you had at current market value with a depreciation is usually what insurance companies do. So it'll take the market value. Sometimes they'll even screw you even more and take the value of it when you purchased it after you provide proof that you purchased it, which how you could do that if all the receipts were in the house. Because my parents were, they like to keep all the receipts, and the receipts were physical and they were in the house. So we had that challenge, but they'll take the value of it, what it was back then, which was cheaper, and then add depreciation to it to make it less for you now in the future, which, after the increase of prices of everything makes it worse. So insurance companies screw you. I hate insurance companies. They suck. They just all around suck. So I already know he's probably going to go through hell with the insurance company just to get his money for the house. I don't know if he still had a mortgage, but it sucks. It's such a mess. Definitely not something you plan on dealing with. So it's a lot of extra work that you don't expect. So hopefully everybody's trying to stay safe. I know that we've had some casualties out there, but thankfully it's not any crazy numbers yet. So fire is an insurance, but not an earthquake. Yeah. What if you don't have homeowners insurance? Then you're pretty much screwed. But you really can't own a home with a mortgage without you have to have insurance. So the mortgage, wherever you usually get your mortgage through, they'll force you to get insurance. And the moment you stop paying insurance, they're notified. Because, they're the investor, so to speak. You're living in their house that they paid for, technically, that you're paying back them. In some cases, you know, X amount of percentage, but you have to have insurance basically, unless you don't have a mortgage and you upright own it, you know, so it's a great system. Wouldn't surprise me if the banks also own the insurance companies, which they probably do. Yeah, Kyle just moved in a couple of years ago. I know, he just got settled there and he was doing some remodels. I followed his videos for a long time, and I think he remodeled his living room, and it was pretty cool to watch him, you know, go from where he was when he started to where he is now. One of those situations where you're like, man, guy put in some hours to get there. So, and he's a really funny dude too. Really energetic, really funny. Somebody, you know, I look up to, even though I'm probably older than him. Last time this happened in California, a lot of people just sold out and moved. Yeah, I mean, what do you do? I guess it'll be prime land for new real estate in the future, but... Alright guys, let's get building. I've been standing here chatting a little bit too much, but... Move down with me. Robert, fix it. Who moved down with you? That's... Oh, okay. Like, move down? I didn't know you were... I don't think you're over there. I guess I'm just confused. I'm probably confused because I'm not all here. Alright, let's just go ahead and get building. I'm gonna stop trying to make sense of it. Matt Fleming, awesome. Liam's getting ready to go to bed. Oh, no. He's stalling now, watching your stream. Awesome. I'm sorry we started so late, Liam. It's been a rough couple days for me, so I apologize. I almost was gonna not do the stream, but I know I told you, Dad, I would. So I didn't want to not do the build stream for you. I'm just feeling a little under the weather from this bug that I caught, and it's been kicking my butt all week, or weekend at least. And then I've got to start building again. I'm so far behind on my schedule now. Just taking a couple of days to mend. Ruined the schedule. Oh, got a bunch of California people to Tennessee. Oh, okay. Like, did you talk them into going? So that's an interesting move. Isn't Tennessee colder? Tennessee's like kind of the same line as... Maybe I'm thinking of it geographically incorrectly, but I thought it was around the same area as Michigan. Like the same line anyway, or slightly, maybe it's slightly lower. It's not envisioning where it is now. For some reason. Don't think Ben just built. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Venomous Toad. Is this your full-time gig? This is not. So I have a full-time job. Back in 2023, I did go full-time with this because it got so busy, I couldn't do both a full-time job and build computers. There just was no way. for me to do all of it. 2023, we did 733 PCs. I did, which was a lot. That's the most I've ever built in a single year. Last year, just as an example, it slowed down, so I had to go back to work. We only did 200 or almost 200. 196 was the total. So I just installed the 512 megabyte M.2 SSD. You can tell I'm a little off because usually I start with the CPU. So it's not my full-time gig right now. There just wasn't enough continued business after 2023. It kind of slowed down, and I think it had a lot to do with the economy, unfortunately. So, but it's starting to speed back up, like towards the end of the year here. It kind of started speeding up again, coming back around. Started seeing return customers from, you know, a couple of years ago, looking for upgrades and other things. So really started helping. It's kind of a bad business model, honestly, because most of the computers that I build, they last anywhere from 2 to 5 years. So I may not see a return customer, if you're looking at it as a business, anywhere from 2 to 5 years, which is a terrible business model. You want your customers coming back for a good business model as quickly as possible. And 2 to 5 years means it's going to take longer for a company like this design to build a larger customer base before it's more self-sustainable. Kind of creates its own ecosystem, so to speak. You build your trust with your customers, and then eventually they recommend you, and they only go to you for the PCs and support and upgrades. But I'm not always, just about the business side of it. I'm also encouraging people to learn how to do this stuff too. So that's amazing. Thank you. But yeah, I do have a full-time job right now, so I work 40 hours, 40 to 45 hours, depending on what type of week it is. If it's a patching week, it's 40 to 50 hours, but it gets cold here and hardly ever snows. Yeah, I knew it gets cold there. I thought it snowed though. Is it just viewers that order, or do you have your own company? So I do have my own company. It is Empower Gaming Computers under an LLC. So it is an actual company. And usually if you have a YouTube channel and it is profiting, or a Twitch channel that is profiting, you want all that profit to go into an LLC. You really don't want it tied back to your let's say social security number, because it actually you get better tax breaks by having an LLC. Thank you for building tonight. He's pretty excited. Hopefully you're feeling better. Thank you. Yeah, if he needs to go to bed, he could definitely watch it, catch it tomorrow. It'll always be up on YouTube, unless for some reason YouTube takes it down. No problem, and it's my pleasure to build it. Funny, I just posted my story about quitting my job to build computers. It did not end well. Yeah, it didn't end well for me either. Usually it doesn't. Usually it takes anywhere from 3 to 5 years for this type of business to kind of turn around and start becoming profitable. And I'd say this year, or 2023 was the first year that was like profitable, and I thought that was the year. And I was pretty early. It would have been only 2.5 years, and I was like, well, maybe I'm just that good. I was wrong. The economy just wasn't there at the same time, and I just stalled out. So that sucked. Having to go from financial freedom / supporting yourself to now going back to work and going back to the grind. Hey, what's up, Onra? Welcome back to the Build Show, sir, over there on the Twitch side of things. But yeah, that was a tough one to swallow, I'm not gonna lie. Having to go back to work. I didn't want to do that. But I didn't really have a choice. So I think next time I'll maybe switch to a part-time position and work part-time with the business and do more IT consulting rather than the IT work. So I don't have as many, I guess, stucks. I can get in, get out, and not have to worry about holding people up because I'm not getting something done because I'm busy. You know, it happens. Alright, so now that we've got the 32 gigs of DDR4 3200 RAM and the Ryzen 5 4500 and a 512 gigabyte M.2 SSD installed, we're going to get the Thermalright Assassin X120 cooler mounted to the CPU. This is what's going to cool our CPU. We've got to get our brackets out and get these installed. This mounting kit for AMD. You know, I've been pretty impressed with this screwdriver. I think the head on the tip, the head on the screwdriver is probably going to wear out before anything else, which is pretty impressive. I honestly thought the mechanics, the ratchet side of it, was going to wear out first. Used to be a chef. I would have never guessed that. I used to be more of a mechanic. So I decided that working on cars in Michigan winters sucked. So I decided to go do something that got me out of the cold. You can't live on custom builds anymore alone. You need services. Yeah, I know, I have services as well. I did start pivoting to more of a managed service option as well, which sounds weird because anytime I'm coming in there and they're like, oh, what's your email address? And I say support@empowergamingpcs.com, or I give them my professional one with my business name. But the domain kind of throws them off, so I gotta set up another domain, maybe another website. It's all gonna be under the same LLC though. I don't, maybe I should separate it, I don't know. But I got a couple of customers built out there. And that'll help with some reoccurring revenue as well, which is what I need to kind of stay sustainable, especially when it gets a little light. So, managed services and CSP, cloud services, for the IT world. Always peel to peel. I mean, you could definitely do custom PC builds and make it a sustainable business. It's just you need a lot of volume, and then you need to be able to push through that volume. Minimum overhead and a lot of volume. That is really the only way you could do it. The services really help, obviously. Excuse me. So places like iBuyPower, for example, they have, you know, warranty extensions and different services that you can buy with their computers, or services that you can buy, you know, without their computers. That is how they make their money. They don't make their money on the parts and the hardware. They also buy, so we're going to send that to the back. They also buy their hardware in such bulk pricing that I can never get that close unless I'm doing the same volume. Which kind of leaves us smaller builders at a disadvantage in a way. Alright, we've got the motherboard ready to go, so we can get that case out. They held up. That's good to know. Yeah, I've been giving it the old college try, trying to wear it out. They skimp on parts, yeah, I know. They cut corners, but I mean, still. The PSU, motherboards, RAM, coolers are hot garbage. The cases, too. The cases are trash sometimes. Some of their cases are okay. How are they going to hide that cable from the cooler on the motherboard? So I'll send it to the back of the case, so you'll barely see it. It'll be pretty hidden away. But I'm going to wait until we get the other RGB chain in there, so that I can plug that all in, and then daisy chain this one off of that chain, which I'll get the case out and show you. I've also hit a snag where I need to redo my Windows 11 install because there's too many updates after. It's a little outdated. Meaning I'm spending too much time running Windows updates after I do the installs. So I gotta get a fresh, up-to-date Windows 11 USB. This is the Dark Flash DB330M. Comes with 2 fans on the top and 1 in the rear, so a total of 3 120mm fans. Front and glass side panel. One thing I dislike about this packaging is that they tape both of the front and the side peels. That you have to peel these basically just to open the case, which sucks because then my fingerprints get out. This is the budget box. I use the same style case for the Frostfire, but it depends on which one's in stock and available, but I'll switch between the Okinawas and the dark flash cases. They're pretty much the same case, honestly. Welcome to... Hey, Venomous Toad, thank you for the support. Thanks for becoming a member over there. Appreciate you. What's up, Kanye? Yeah, we've got, what, 3 members now? Which is crazy to me. I'm gonna have to start posting content for you guys. But basically, with this particular case, or any for that matter, with this motherboard, I want to daisy chain this RGB from the top. There's another RGB connection at the bottom that I'll use for the bottom fans. But I want our fans and the cooler to daisy chain off of one another, just so we can get that plugged in. Gotta unplug these. These are all tangled up, fortunately. There we go. We can go ahead and get this motherboard installed. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to get these fans installed as well, because it's going to be a little tight. If we get the motherboard installed, it's going to be a little tight to get my fingers in there. But I'll show you what I'm going to do with these cables here. I'm less worried about cables right now. More worried about cables later. Oh yeah, we need to also, before we do that, we need to put the studs in and our I/O shield. See how many times I've already messed up? Gotta support the content you like. Thank you. It's much appreciated. We also do, and I've got to update the pie chart on it, but eventually I will have something that's indicating where everything's at. But we do the $1 PC giveaway, where I take the earnings from the channel and we build a PC and then we give it away to our supporters. So once we hit a threshold. So eventually we will have that threshold met. I think the last one I did was in 2023, which was just because we did so good. We didn't have the, you know, the subscribers or whatever you want to call it to kind of match it, but I gave back to everybody by doing a build and giving it away. And then I also built a build that was, I think, 2022, and I gave that away to one of the, it was either 2022 or 2023, I can't remember which year it was, but I gave that away to one of the Oxford high school shooting victims while they were on the mend, because they had to heal up. They had nothing to do while they were healing up, so it was, you know, I think it was just before summer. So got him a full setup. Okay, so now we got the back I/O shield in and got our studs started. Typically I would have tightened those down, but I'm just going to do that with the screws here after the fact. Not sure why I'm derping here, but geez. Everybody's probably like, Ben is seriously on the struggle bus tonight. And it's true. I am. Happy Tuesday. Hey, what's up, Mason Baker? Welcome back to the Build Show. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you. Yes, I am on the mend, so to speak. Still a little groggy. And apparently building very slow. But I am here. We are going to at least get this one build done tonight. Need the long boy to get this one in. Let's open a PC store and a kitchen in the same building. I mean, I'm down. PC store and a kitchen. Why does that happen to me? Sweet racing sim, hot wings and beer. Definitely can make that work. Might even throw some flight sims after a few drinks just to show you what it would be like to try to fly after drinking. Hey, just need to know what GPUs are good for a Ryzen 5 5500. So the 5500 is actually very similar to the same chip we're running right now, which is a 4500. But it lacks PCIe 4.0. So it also depends on what motherboard you're on, but in that situation, doesn't matter what motherboard you're on, Ryzen 5 5500 isn't going to support PCIe 4.0. So really, good cards. I mean, 1080p is pretty much the limit for that CPU. You can do, I guess, more, but stick around the RX 6600, the RX 7600, maybe a 7700X, 7600. That's for the AMD cards, NVIDIA cards, and RTX 3060, 3060 Ti, 3070. You know, would kind of be where my limit would be. The 3070 might be a little bit of a bottleneck for the CPU, meaning the CPU would bottleneck and you wouldn't get the full performance and potential of the 3070 on there, but it should work for the most part. For most of it should work. Yeah, while your PC is being built, you can have lunch. Perfect scenario. Yeah, you can sit down, have some lunch, hang out with people. Cooks in front of you, and your PC builder builds in front of you. Yeah, interesting combination. I don't think you'd have that experience anywhere in the world except for maybe in Asia somewhere, like China or Taiwan. Hey, what's up? The Drawing Artist. I'm currently building with a Ryzen 5 5600 RX 6600. That's a great combination. It will give you excellent 1080p performance. So it's a great combination. The Ryzen 5 5600, depending on what board you got, B550, I hope, you'll be able to really, go into some pretty heavy cards with that CPU if you're just gaming. So it's a great CPU to start with. 5500 is a little bit lighter, but the 5600 is definitely worth the extra few dollars if you can get it. If you haven't already bought your 5500, that is. But the Ryzen 5 5500 has more of a limitation than the 5600. The 5600 is a great chip. You can pretty much pair it up with some of the higher end cards. So it's a great option. All right, we've got our board mounted. Now we just gotta flip it over and start doing some. Yep. Re-verify that I finished putting this one down. Good thing I checked. Get some of our cable connections in. Yeah? Yeah. Get some of our cable connections in. Front panel connectors, that's what I was thinking of. Gotta get those plugged in, and then we can start tackling the bottom fans and all that good stuff here. USB 3.0 on the... USB 3 is on the side. I always forget that this case has USB-C, which isn't going to work, so the front panel USB-C in this situation is not going to work for this build, if the motherboard doesn't support it. It's just something you don't expect on this case. Don't think about it. Like a $60 case and it has USB-C. Becoming more and more common, especially on budget cases now too. Yep, your first build? Nice. Welcome to the insanity. the hobby that just continues to drain your wallet. What card are you using for this build? This is going to be a GTX 1660 by Zotac that we're going to be putting in here. Nothing super fancy, but I think the total cost of this build was $629.96 with a Ryzen 5 4500, 32 gigs of DDR4, 3200 RAM, the A520 motherboard, or the B450, 500 watt power supply, the case, the tower air cooler, and the GTX 1660. So it's a great budget system, and then of course the SSD. Great budget system. And excuse me, I am still under the weather from the weekend. Trying to catch up here. Don't really have a choice but to keep building. I have so many orders to deal with that I'm going to be behind on now. There. Very good. I'm gonna go ahead and get these bottom fans installed. These are 15 millimeter thickness, so they're extra small, extra thin. 120 millimeter, 15 millimeter thickness. So they're thin intentionally so that they could fit with a larger graphics card in there. We do the same day builds if it's before 3 p.m. Nice. Keep whapping the mic. Okay. A couple things I didn't take into account is the fact that it has a cooler, too. 25 millimeters. Screws, not these behemoths. I'm hoping I have some shorter options here. That will work. That's not going to work. Some things you just don't take into account. Like the screw leg. Any ideas here for an old guy? Teach an old guy some new tricks. Other than zip ties. Just too short. Those are too long. Sucks. So my problem is these are 25 millimeter thick or 15 millimeter thickness, and these are 425 millimeter screws, right? The only thread so far, so the head's going to be sticking out. The other screw option I have here is just not long enough. Doesn't reach the thread. So, what do I do? What do I do? Let me go check one more thing. Any ideas? I could do a bottom mount, but it would be a big pain in the butt if I ever had to remove these. Oh man, I would hate myself. So bad. I would really hate myself. I am 50 Cal. Welcome to the build show, sir. Someone suggests a good CPU for the B580. Well, I have a build lined up to do a live build stream with a B580, and the CPU that I selected was a 12600K. So The idea was, you know, the B580 is more of your budget 1440p card. What would people normally be kind of pairing it with, or what would you typically see? And it would be a 12600K in my vision, you know, if you're going and staying on the Intel side. But if you're doing AMD equivalent, like a 7600X or a Ryzen 5 5600X or 5700X 3D, yeah. For the Intel chip, I would go, the lowest I would go, it would be a 12600K. And then you could go up to a 13600K or a 14600K if you want any of the newer generations. But personally, we've had nothing but problems with 13th and 14th gen higher end CPUs. But so I'll leave that to your discretion. And if you have a Micro Center nearby, you could get a 12900K bundle for $399, and that's a i9 12900K with a Z790 motherboard and a 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 CL36 RAM by G.Skill, which is, I think, the Ripjaws kit. So if you have a Micro Center nearby and that bundle is available, definitely a really good deal. Those M3 screws, so you can snip them shorter. You can't because of the threads. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but the threads are unfortunately limited. Or I would definitely do that. I have scissors upstairs that'll cut. I think they cut copper and nickel, so. Yes, definitely grab that bundle if they have it. Yeah, the 12900K would be pretty much the same price as you go into Amazon or Newegg and buying a 12600K Z790 motherboard and 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. You would get a better CPU in the bundle overall. So, much better deal. So you'd save yourself some money and get a better processor in the long run. One thing I did think of, sitting here, yeah. Wonder if these would work. Would those work from Noctua? Does Noctua save us again? The fan rubbers. Yes. Let's see if these work. I don't even know. I hate using these. Honestly. I don't even remember how they're supposed to work. Problem is the hole isn't big enough. Okay. We're gonna have to just go to the hardware store. We're just gonna have to go to the hardware store tomorrow and get... I thought these were gonna work, but never mind. They're just not gonna fit the holes right. So we're gonna go to the hardware store tomorrow, and I'm gonna get the proper fan mounting and screws. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna zip tie on them so they don't go anywhere. So this is not permanent, this is just temporary. And then I'll run to the hardware store some point tomorrow and grab the right screws, and then I'll screw these in. So until then, it's going to look a little funky, but oh well. Moving on from this bluster. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know. I just do. Didn't think of that. And I've done builds like this before, but you know what? It was in the Okinawa's case, and that fits the 120s, 25 millimeters on the bottom. This one I wanted to do a little smaller, only because of the past. When we had a bigger card in here, it didn't want to fit very well on this board. So that's why I did this. And you'll see what I'm talking about as soon as we put this card in here right now. How close it is to the fans. And this is a 1660, and it's not a very thick card. Where should I go to get my gaming PC computer of $2,500? Well, Daniel, naturally, my answer is going to be Empower Gaming Computers. But, I mean, if you have a local builder near you, or if you want to build your own PC, you can always do that. Thermalright spacers. Yes, that could be a thing. But I'm just going to go to the hardware store and get the right M3 screws to length. I've got like an Ace Hardware over here that has literally every nut and bolt you can imagine. And then it's problem solved. And then I know for sure, future, when I build this build with these extra fans, that I have to purchase the extra screws, or I'll just buy a bunch of them. I have them on hand. But anyway, either late for the build. How's it going? You're not late at all, man. Welcome back to the build show. But Daniel, definitely take a look at. Shout out to Dell. Robert, you're funny. Alright, so I lined up the PCIe and pushed it down, waited to hear the click, and now we're ready to add the 2 screws on the side. To finish the install. Gonna suck because I'm gonna have to take that card out to do those screws. Oh well. It is part of the job. And as you can see, there's a clearance issue down there. This one is a smaller card, so not as big of an issue. It's a dual card, but if it was anything over than the dual slot card, you'd have a problem fitting it in here with the bottom fans at 25 millimeters. Just go negative pressure. That's what, yeah. But I offer this fan configuration to add a little bit more airflow to the case, right? And they bought it. They purchased the extra fans to put in here, so so I've got to go through the build. This was build to order. So I got to finish building it to its order. So I'll just run to the hardware store and get the screws tomorrow, and it'll be fine. Not a big deal, right? Not a big deal. So next is our power supply that we have to install, which is a 500 watts budget-friendly RS Game 80 plus bronze. I want to start looking for an 80 plus gold that I can use in more budget systems. And I was really heavily relying on the Sagitap 650 watt 80 plus golds, but they're very difficult to get now. Like any of the budget friendly hardware is just poof gone. So the GPU will have its feet on the couch chilling. Yeah, I know the fans will never turn on because the case fans will do all the work. I mean, I guess that's a good thing because then it's less wear and tear on the GPU fans, right? Saves the life of the bearings on the GPU. One way to look at it. Yeah, you do not front fans. Oh, I see what you said there. Because yeah, I know. Just design flaw. Who the hell designed this system? Jeez. He must really suck. Gets the screws for the fans? Must be a new builder or something. It's like he's never built a PC before in his life. That felt way too easy going in, guys. A little sus there. Sus. Do. What do you guys think? Nice entry-level system. Once I get the screws in those fans, it'll be perfecto. You put Windows 7 on it. Bass music. Why would I put Windows 7 on there? I mean, yeah, you probably could. Windows 7 has DirectX 11 and DirectX 10 support, right? I don't think it supports DirectX 12. Hey, what's up, Steve Anderson? Welcome back to the Build Show. Bass music, welcome back to the Build Show. I think it'll work. Windows 7 is the best. I know, but it's discontinued and there's a lot of support issues now with it. Still works, but there's support issues. Hey, is there a way to make Roblox run on Windows 7 in 2025? I don't think there is. Maybe. I guess maybe if you're running like a Google Chrome or maybe some browser like that that's up to date, maybe you can. Looking at the side view, do we need the bottom fans? Well, we have the bottom fans on there. Antivirus. Yeah, you might want antivirus as well. Especially if you're going to be on the internet and playing Roblox. Just don't click the links in the chat inside Roblox chat. My daughter learned that valuable lesson very early in her Roblox career. Alright guys, I don't know if Liam is still here or maybe Matthew is here. Still? Somebody's got to tell us to fire this thing up. Relax. She's glowing and she's ready to start. Hey, Dark Hollow 1 over there on Twitch. Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. Let's go. We're getting ready. I don't know if either Liam or his dad, Matthew, is here to tell us to push this power button. They don't respond in like the next 30 seconds. We'll assume they are not here and they went to bed like they said they would be doing. And then we'll push the power button for Liam. And he'll get to watch it tomorrow. Fire it up, Matt. Here we go. And at 3, 2, 1, hit it. I have the glass side panel off for now. I will be going back to the hardware store to get the proper screw length for the 15 millimeter fans that I overlooked. And thank you, William, over on the YouTube channel there for the sub. Appreciate you, sir. He's in bed. He'll watch it tomorrow. Yeah, I assumed it was getting late. Michael, great news. Michael, I have great news for you. I actually meant to send out email updates to everybody that is waiting on a PC for me, and you're one of them. But I have good news for you. I will be sending out an email for you tomorrow, no later than tomorrow, with an update on your system. Because I know you're excited. I'm excited to do yours too. Nice, beautiful build. It is. Very beautiful. It's very beautiful. Don't look at the lights, guys. It's very attracting. Get an RGB tan with this. You'll have to get him some sunglasses, some RGB tanning lotion to make sure he doesn't burn his skin from the RGB light. I'm joking about that. Can you build me a junk PC? I don't think I can build a junk PC. It's weird. I try, and it just never ends up that way. I think the only junk PC I own is mine. That's the only one that I built. The one that I half-assed, because it's mine. It's not really half-assed. It's just really messy right now. Really dirty. I need to do that YouTube episode on how to clean your PC, where everybody makes severe fun of me because of how dirty my PC is, and I always tell people not to let their PC get like this. Intentionally doing so for the video. But now it's been like almost a full year excuse now. And I haven't cleaned my PC. It's so bad. We don't build junk PCs here. We only do the best of the best. We do everything, I think. I think we do everything here. Check out a wide variety of our builds. Thank you. Some giant idiot is Johnny on the spot with the links tonight. I don't even have an opportunity to read and digest it, although I am pretty out of it. Mine was pretty bad. Yeah, it wasn't that bad, but it was. I think mine's worse right now. Mine's probably the worst. 9 a.m. hardware store run for the screws, probably something like that. Deether. I don't know if it's going to be 9 a.m., but at some point, probably in the lunch hours, I'll probably run out there and grab some. So it's just I think it's an M3 screw, and I need 15 to 16 millimeter in length to go through the fan of 15 millimeter thickness and to thread. Specs, this one's a AMD Ryzen 5 4500 with 32 gigs of DDR4 3200 megahertz on a Asus TUF Gaming A520, which was supposed to be a B450, but the A520, this one, and B450s are almost exactly the same. And the B450s are just not in stock anywhere. So the A520 is what we had to go with. Hey Noah, Helener, thank you for the like over there. Appreciate you over on the Facebook. But the GTX 1660 for the graphics card, a Thermalright Assassin X120 SE addressable RGB tower air cooler, and then a Dark Flash micro ATX case, which is the MB330, I believe that's what it is, with a 500 watt 80 plus gold and a 512 gigabyte solid state drive. The only thing I would have changed on this, which there was with these budget builds, unfortunately, there's just like no wiggle room, because I barely make, if anything, I probably didn't even make anything on this build, honestly. It's just the margin is so low on the budget builds, it's just really tough to stay competitive and make a profit. And I'm fine with that, you know, because I do probably more higher end stuff than budget stuff. So I don't mind putting, you know, a build together if it starts a relationship with a customer and grows. But do you do builds all kinds? If you can dream it, we can work with it, maybe? Yeah, I can. I need the best PC for $60. You can actually make that happen, Dark Hollow One. $60 PC is basically, you're going to go run around. It's going to take some deal shopping, but you can make that happen. Basically, it's going to be a Dell Optiplex, probably third or fourth gen i5, that hopefully has an SSD. If it doesn't, then you're kind of screwed. Basically, you're banking on a Dell Optiplex for like $25, $30 with an SSD installed in it. And then the rest of your budget's going to go towards a graphics card, which you can find some pretty good cards for like $30. And you can make a PC for like $60 that will play 1080p games. And it just blows my mind that people just shun that so badly in the PC world. Like, I used to do those all the time for people. I used to do the Dell Optiplex Special, is what I used to call it, but it was just a Dell Optiplex workstation with fresh thermal paste, usually upgraded the RAM, upgraded this SSD, left the hard drive as additional storage, added a Wi-Fi card, Wi-Fi 6 card, and also added a graphics card. And, you know, I wouldn't go past something that was going to only draw like 60 or 80 watts on the card, so limited to like a RX 560, or back then anyway. This was a couple years ago. But I mean, a couple $100 and you had a Dell Optiplex that would literally play 1080p games, and it was great for kids and parents that were just on a really tight budget. And it worked. Let's do it. I got $60. Hey, if you want to do it, I'll help you find it. I'll show you how to do it. Join the Discord channel if you haven't already, and I can drop you some ideas to help you figure that out. But you have to be willing to drive around and meet probably some weird people in some shady places to make those deals happen. Not gonna lie. $100 gaming PC is my lane? Yes. Yeah, that's a good... I've seen a couple of your videos, Robert Fixit, over on your YouTube channel. You've done some pretty good stuff there. Can you build me a Windows 7 PC? We probably could. Yeah, again, the easiest way to probably go back to Windows 7 is the Dell Optiplex. It's literally Windows 7 hardware, all in a box, ready to go for you. If you want to join the Discord, click the link from some giant idiot there. That's the Discord channel. And no, there aren't actual cookies. They are internet cookies. Just for clarification. I've had a bad time with my new 7900 XT PC freezing at times. Oh. You didn't switch anything else in the PC, did you? Just the graphics card? Oh, you switched the BIOS on it. So far, so good. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious if there was any other change in the system. I like cookies. Cookie. Cookie. Ah, blah, blah, blah. Second build today. I can't do a second build today. I'm exhausted. My voice is getting strenuous. So I really wouldn't be able to talk much if we continued to do a second build. But it's because I coughed so much over the last couple days. My vocals are just like torn up. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like I went on a roller coaster for 3 days straight and screamed the whole time like a girl. Like all three of my girls all at the same time. Yeah. No voice. No oomph in the voice. And then that's starting to happen. Do you have tutorials on getting your PC set up after building it? So I've actually been requested that lately quite a few times, and I'll see if I can put a tutorial together when I do this one. I'll do a screen capture and then maybe do a voiceover of what I do. Mainly the BIOS. Oh, the BIOS is pretty simple. Yeah, I could show you, but it's going to be different. So for example, this is going to be an ASUS BIOS. Then there's Gigabyte BIOS, and then there's MSI BIOS, and then there's ASRock BIOS. So there's many different companies out there, so it's going to be a different experience for each one of them. It's going to be the same kind of idea. You're plugging in a USB drive, going into the BIOS and selecting the tool name or the BIOS update. Like MSI Center is the MSI update. ASUS is what do you call it? I'm sitting here at the BIOS right now. I should probably just look at it. It's the Easy Flash utility. Of course, why did I freaking forget that? But in that Gigabyte, I think they have a fancy name for it too. So it's all different things to click and different menus to click to get to, but it's all the same thing. if that makes sense. The BIOS files are going to be different, but I could do a tutorial video, yeah, and post it on the YouTube channel. Is it for free? What do you mean by that? Cookies? Or the tutorial? I was told I could just put it in and it should boot fine. The graphics card? Yeah, I don't see why you shouldn't have had a problem with that. Alexander, welcome back to the Build Show, sir. Do you recommend a 4070 Ti Super or a 4080 trying to stay under 2500? I mean, if you're going to start looking at those cards, we're 15 days out from the 5080 being released around the same price point as the 4080. So if you can wait 15 more days, Alexander, I would honestly wait. Because right now you are paying a little bit of a premium to get the 4080. Not gonna lie, 4080 Super is the card that's available, and you are paying a premium to get it. Is it for free, the PC? Is the PC for free? This PC? No, the customer bought this on my website, they paid for it, they ordered it on the website, so, and then we ordered all the parts, and then we just did the live build stream for them, and then we'll go through and do the rest of the setup and make it out of the box ready for gameplay, so that Liam can take it out of the box, plug it in, fire it up, and start downloading his games and start enjoying it. So that stuff I do off stream usually, because it gives me time to kind of go back and forth on some other things. Yes, it will definitely, based on the current shortage we have of 4090s and 4080 Supers, it is going to be a big pain in the D to get a 5090 at launch. Basically, you're going to be one of those weirdos. Sorry, I'm a weirdo too, sitting outside Micro Center sometimes. In line at Micro Center or at Fry's or whatever computer store on January 30th, before doors open, in line to get a brochure or a flyer that says you have a golden ticket for a 5090. If you want it on launch day, that's how you're going to get it. Everything else is going to get bought up online by bots. It's going to be impossible. Or Best Buy, I guess. You could try that, but yes, 5090s will probably sell out within about 10 minutes of the launch. So store opens, launched, gone in probably 10 minutes. No joke. Found you through Facebook Marketplace because I'm in need of a new PC. Cool seeing PCs getting built. Yes. Yeah. Well, thanks for stopping in and hanging out. Yeah, I do. I'll be doing a lot of builds this week. I had to take a little bit of a break. Last stream was on Friday because I came down with a bug and I was kind of under the weather the last couple days and I just didn't have a voice. So it wasn't really anything I could do about it. and I was just down, so I had to take a break. I got burnt hard. But yeah, thanks for stopping in, Clara, from the Facebook over to the YouTube. If someone buys me one, I'll hand you a $100 bill. So if somebody buys you, so you get a $50.90, if that's $2,000, and you're only going to pay $100 for it. Might need to be careful about that. I might have to fight for a $50.90. I mean, in our situation, Michael, I don't think we're going to see a $50.80 and a $50.90 until after probably February. That's when we're going to probably actually get them. So if you could wait about a month or so, I guess, is the right way to put it. Oh no, the PC would not be... I mean, if I could find one for free and make that work for you, or if I have something here, I would... I actually do have an Optiplex sitting here, but you'd have to locally come over here and pick it up. No, I'll pay I know. I figured... Venomous Toad, I figured that's what you meant. I was just making fun of you. Sorry. I'm hoping I can save enough to get a PC built by you. Oh, awesome. Yeah, we have, if you haven't checked out the website yet, this is the budget build, actually, the budget box. So this is one of our cheapest systems that we have on the website. This, Liam, or Matt, Liam's dad, ended up adding some upgrades to it, but this would be the budget box. So, with some upgrade options available on the website. We're located in Lake Orion, Michigan, which is about an hour north of Detroit. Sorry, I worked all day and my brain hurts. Same, man. I feel you. I'm pretty burnt out right now. I'm feeling it. It's been a long day, but all right, guys. I am probably going to call it here tonight. We will be back live on stream tomorrow. I'm going to try to get it started a little earlier, like we have been trying for the last week, starting earlier in the evening. And we're going to try to tackle 2 builds tomorrow. We have a couple of really cool builds to do. I haven't decided which ones we're doing yet because I don't know the dates on everything, but basically it's whoever's order came in first, and I just process it that way, unless, you know, you're missing a part or something for the order, which pretty much everything's here now. So I have literally no excuse other than the fact that I was down for the last 3 days, which kind of screwed my schedule. So I'm a little behind right now. So be patient with me. The builds are coming. I am just a little bit behind this week because I got sick. But we'll be building live tomorrow, Wednesday evening, and also Thursday evening and Friday evening, and Saturday we'll probably be taking we might tackle some of the inventory builds, because that's what will be pretty much left, is inventory builds at that point, because we got to get those built and start getting those flipped, because I'm sitting on all this hardware. You just submitted a PC request. Nice. Well, I'll take a look at it once I get off the stream here. And thank you for the sub, Daniel, over on YouTube. I appreciate that. Adam, over on Facebook, thank you for the like. As always. Alright, guys. You have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you stop in and hang out if you want to see more builds. We'll be doing 2 of them tomorrow. As long as I don't die. Joking. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping in and hanging out. We'll see ya.